A spirited 5-year-old vanished from her home in central Regina on an ordinary day in July 2004. This wasn't just any 5-year-old. This was Tamra, a vibrant, spirited child brimming with life and curiosity, earning her the affectionate moniker My Little Einstein from her doting mother. Tamra's days were filled with the innocent joys of childhood. She was fond of playing Mario Kart, her fingers deftly maneuvering the controls as she navigated virtual racetracks with a fierce determination. When she wasn't engrossed in her video games, she was often found clambering up the branches of her favorite tree, her laughter a bright spark amidst the dull landscape of her neighborhood. But her world was far from idyllic. Tamra lived in a neighborhood known as the Low Stroll, an area that bore the heavy weight of poverty and addiction. It was a place where laughter was often drowned out by the harsh realities of life, where dreams often gave way to despair. The Low Stroll was also haunted by a chilling legacy of missing women, predominantly from the First Nations. Names like Annette Pagan, Paty Favel, and Joyce Tilletson were not just names, but echoes of a tragic past that hung heavy over the area. Each disappearance left an indelible mark on the community, a grim reminder of the dangers that lurked in the shadows. When Tamra disappeared, it wasn't just another day in the Low Stroll. It was the day when a child's laughter was abruptly silenced, when the innocence of a 5-year-old was swallowed up by the ominous darkness that cloaked the neighborhood. It wasn't just another disappearance. It was the vanishing of a vibrant life, a promising future, a beloved little Einstein. The gravity of Tamra's disappearance was immediately felt, resonating far beyond the confines of her troubled neighborhood. It wasn't just the loss of a child. It was a stark reminder of the grim history that the Low Stroll was unable to escape. In the heart of this troubled neighborhood, Tamra's disappearance marked the beginning of a gripping mystery that would haunt Regina. And so, the stage was set for a story that would unravel in the dark underbelly of the Low Stroll, a story that would delve into a mystery as complex and haunting as the neighborhood itself. On the first day of his vacation, Sergeant Ron Weir found himself drawn into a case that would consume him. Sergeant Weir, a seasoned cop and the head of emergency services, was no stranger to the gritty realities of law enforcement. His years on the force had seen him through countless investigations, but this one hit differently. This was about a young, vibrant girl named Tamra, a 5-year-old whose infectious spirit had earned her the nickname My Little Einstein from her doting mother. Sergeant Weir's initial hope was that Tamra was simply a typical runaway child. After all, kids can be impulsive, disappearing for a few hours to explore or to escape a scolding. Unfortunately, the troubled neighborhood Tamra called home suggested otherwise. Known as the Low Stroll, the area was a nexus of poverty, addiction, and a tragic history of missing women, predominantly from the First Nations community. In the face of such stark realities, Weir's hope was challenged. He found himself wrestling with the growing realization of the case's gravity. A child's disappearance is always serious, but in the Low Stroll, it carried an extra layer of dread. The cases of Annette Pagan, Paty Favel, and Joyce Tilletson were still fresh in the community's collective memory. These women, like Tamra, had vanished, their fates shrouded in mystery. The echoes of these unsolved cases added an ominous resonance to Tamra's disappearance. The search for Tamra was more than just another case for Sergeant Weir. It was a mission driven by a deep sense of urgency and a determination to defy the gloomy odds. Every minute counted, every lead was pursued, every stone turned. Yet, as the search intensified, so did the grim reality of the situation. The cheerful image of Tamra playing Mario Kart or climbing her favorite tree seemed to grow fainter with each passing day. As days turned into weeks, the hope of finding Tamra alive began to fade. The vibrant spirit that once filled a humble home in Regina was now a haunting absence, a chilling reminder of the sinister underbelly of the Low Stroll. Opening, in a neighborhood marred by the disappearances of Annette Pagan, Paty Favel, and Joyce Tilletson, Tamra's case took on a haunting familiarity. The Low Stroll was no stranger to the chill of loss. It was an area whose heart had already been punctured by the sharp sting of missing women, predominantly First Nations. Each name a story, each story a tragedy. Annette Pagan, Paty Favel, Joyce Tilletson, their names echoed in the wind, a chilling reminder of the neighborhood's past. Annette, a mother who was known for her infectious laughter and massive heart. Paty, a free spirit who loved to dance, her soul as vibrant as a summer sunrise. Joyce, a woman whose resilience was as enduring as the moon in the night sky. Each woman, a vibrant thread in the tapestry of the low Stroll, cruelly snipped away. The echoes of these women reverberated through the streets, amplified by the burgeoning fear that Tamra, the vibrant 5-year-old with a love for Mario Kart and tree climbing, had joined their ranks. Tamra, whose spirit shone brighter than a comet in the night sky, was now potentially another star that had been extinguished far too soon. The parallels between Tamra's case and those of Annette, Patsy, and Joyce were too stark to ignore. Each disappearance, a chilling reminder of the vulnerability of women in the low Stroll. Each case, a mirror reflecting the harsh reality of a neighborhood marked by poverty and addiction. Each story, a grim echo of the others. These echoes brought an increased urgency to the search for Tamra. They stirred up a tempest of fear, a whirlwind of questions. Would Tamra's story end like Annette's, Patsy's, or Joyce's? Or would she be the one to break the cycle, to come home? The parallels between their stories were not just haunting. They were a siren call for justice, a demand for answers, a plea for change. They were a stark reminder that every missing person is more than just a statistic. They are a human being with dreams, hopes, and a life that matters. Closing. The echoes of the past hinted at a more sinister turn for Tamra's fate. The search for Tamra evolved into a full-blown investigation, revealing the dark underbelly of the low Stroll. The investigation into Tamra's disappearance was a labyrinth of challenges, filled with dead ends and unanswered questions. Sergeant Ron Weir, a seasoned cop, was pulled into the case on the first day of his vacation. Despite the initial hope that Tamra might be a typical runaway, Weir sensed the gravity of the situation. His instincts were all too accurate, as the search for Tamra grew in intensity and urgency. The investigation was like navigating through a foggy maze. The troubled neighborhood was already tainted by the disappearance of women like Annette Pagan, Patsy Favel, and Joyce Tilletson. The eerie echoes of the past hinted at a more sinister turn for Tamra's fate. This wasn't just another missing child case, it was a chilling reminder of the neighborhood's tragic history. The community's response was both heart-wrenching and inspiring. They rallied together, their collective fear giving way to a fierce determination to bring Tamra home. Candlelight vigils were held, search parties were formed, and posters of the vibrant 5-year-old were plastered everywhere. The neighborhood may have been marked by poverty and addiction, but the unity they showed in the face of adversity was a testament to their strength. Yet the more the investigators delved into the case, the more they were confronted with a chilling reality. The low Stroll was a place where people disappeared, where the vulnerable were preyed upon, and where justice seemed elusive. It was a dark underbelly that was now exposed for all to see. But despite the challenges, the investigation plowed on, fueled by the hope of finding Tamra and bringing her home. Every lead was pursued, every stone unturned. Yet the answers they sought remained elusive. The vibrant, spirited 5-year-old known as My Little Einstein by her mother had vanished without a trace. The mystery of Tamra's disappearance left an indelible mark on the low Stroll and the city of Regina. Even today, the question remains, what happened to Tamra? This query continues to echo through the streets of Regina, resonating in the hearts of those touched by the mystery of the spirited 5-year-old known as My Little Einstein. This question has become a catalyst for change. Tamra's disappearance was a wake-up call for the community. It highlighted the stark realities of the low Stroll, a neighborhood where poverty, addiction, and a history of missing women, predominantly First Nations, were the norm rather than the exception. The once indifferent community began to rally together, seeking to combat these issues head-on. They started initiatives to provide resources, fight addiction, and above all, ensure the safety of their children. Tamra's case sparked a flame of change, urging the residents to transform their neighborhood from a hub of despair into a beacon of hope. The law enforcement agencies, too, were not left untouched by the case. Tamra's disappearance shook the very foundation of the police force. It led to a re-evaluation of their strategies, procedures, and engagement with the community. Sergeant Ron Weir, who led the search for Tamra, became a symbol of the force's commitment to solving these cases, no matter how complex or challenging. The police began to work more closely with the community, understanding that their cooperation was crucial in preventing such tragedies. Yet, as the years roll on, the search for answers continues. The hope for justice for Tamra remains undimmed. Her memory lives on, a stark reminder of the cost of negligence and the importance of vigilance. The The legacy of Tamra's case continues to inspire change, not just in Regina, but across the country, as people are reminded of the importance of protecting the vulnerable. The case of Tamra, the vibrant 5-year-old girl who loved Mario Kart and climbing trees, serves as a grim reminder of the tragic history of the low Stroll and the urgency of finding answers for the lost children of Regina.